Good morning, Orlando. I'm your host, Dawood Bedrosian. Welcome to Real Sense Now, your go-to real estate show, your go-to radio show for all things real estate. Let me stand corrected. Investment, fun, travel, relaxation, and everything you need to know right here in the city, beautiful Orlando, Florida. Here on Real Sense Now, we're here to give you a real sense of both the current conditions, the opportunities and challenges that exist in our current real estate market and economy. But more importantly, we're here to show you how owning real estate is the cheat code to your success. If you're tuning in for the very first time, we're live every Saturday right here at 11 a.m. for an hour-long show where we cover all things real estate. Today is a very special day because we have an exciting episode lined up for you as we dive into the Memorial Day festivities and discuss the rising trend of course, you guessed it, short-term vacation rentals. Why? Because Orlando is probably one of the hottest places anybody is thinking to travel to here this Memorial Day weekend. And with that being the case, we always want to be ahead of a trend. I'm sorry for using a very famous hockey metaphor, but you always want to skate to where the puck is going, not where the puck is at. You always want to be ahead of a trend and not follow one. So as we approach this long weekend, Orlando is gearing up to welcome visitors from near and far. AAA predicts 2.4 million Floridians will be traveling at least 50 miles or more, which is about 172,000 more people compared to last year and 2019. With that being the case, we're beginning to understand that more and more people want to get out. So in spite of all these recession fears and this tightening of our economy and people not having money, they want to take advantage of packing their family in a car and traveling somewhere close to enjoy everything Orlando has to offer. Orlando International Airport this week reported that they're expecting 1.1 million passengers to travel through the holiday weekend until May 31st. And of course, Orlando, as per Alliance Partners, has been voted the number one destination for domestic travel in 2023. And I'm sure it's not just domestic travel that people will be traveling into Orlando, but from many other countries in the world. And of course, Orlando has topped that list for 7 consecutive years, making Orlando the number one destination to visit. They're visiting the enchanted theme parks, attractions, vibrant restaurants, nightlife, the natural beauty of the area, making it this destination a prime destination for vacationers, once again, near and far. And this is not a new trend that's been emerging for visitors here. A lot of people have been coming to Orlando, and more and more people have been opting to stay at a short-term vacation rental over a traditional hotel accommodation. Osceola, according to Airbnb, hosts earned $64 million in 2022. Osceola had close to 30,000 available short-term rentals across different platforms in February, and it was up 4% from the same time last year, according to AirDNA, a short-term rental research company that has identified a lot of the trends that you see in the markets, what the daily rates are, and why certain markets are hotter than others. Top earnings for a lot of these short-term rentals in the county were over $2 billion in 2022, and a little bit down down by more than about 350 from 2019. But that's still a positive sign, because even though we overcame what we all experienced during the pandemic, we're still seeing an uptick in more and more people wanting to come to Orlando, and more importantly, stay in a short-term vacation rental. And of course, with employment remaining strong and consumer interest increasing to travel, and they want to diversify their affordable experiences, many have turned to short-term rentals, which continues to draw a crowd. Now, we've definitely seen the performance in terms of the forecasting that has been available to be stellar in the years of 2021 and 2022. But what we're noticing is 2023 has become more of a year of mature performance. We are not experiencing that exponential growth that we've seen things are settling down all over the world as more and more economies start to open up and more people are starting to come back into the office to work. But when it comes to recovering from that conventional lodging, with the advent of more prop technology websites such as Airbnb, Zillow, Realtor.com, VRBO, all of these are allowing more people to tap into not only considering what these rentals look like, but actually having the opportunity to consider to purchase them. You see, when it comes to purchasing vacation rentals, there's a very key factor that we all need to figure out. And the number one question that I get asked all the time, of course, is, it looks like the market's going to crash. Interest rates are going up. There's not a lot of homes on the market. But guys, when it comes to any actual physical good market, there's only two things that rule any market, any economy. That's supply and demand. Now, we have a shortage of supply, of inventory in our market, and definitely a high demand for people that want to invest in our market. That makes the Orlando market almost insular from any other market in the country, as compared to many markets in the West Coast that had seen a decline in approximately 9 to 12, 13, 14% in the price level from last year. We've seen an increase in pricing here in our Central Florida market by approximately 9%. But what we need to understand is we need to understand numbers. And when you begin to understand numbers, you will start to understand how to better invest. And a lot of people will tell you, now would not be a good time to invest when the prices are high. What will happen when the market will stabilize? Whether the market stabilizes or not, real estate always trends upwardly over time. And that's the one thing that a lot of people don't understand. So today, I want to come from a place of education, and I want to dispel a myth. I want to put to rest the fantasy that a lot of people have in their mind, which is everybody's waiting for this bubble to burst. And won't the market crash? Shouldn't I be waiting right now? What you really don't understand is that this is a concept that the masses follow. Everybody's looking for that great buy at that great price, and they're picturing that the prices are going to lower. That is a fantasy. The prices will go down and will rise. Whether they rise upwardly or trend downwardly, they always trend upwardly over time. And even though you're buying a property at a higher value, this is an investment property that you can use as a lifestyle asset. What a lot of people don't understand is, even though they may be looking at a price compared to 2 years ago, 10 years ago, there's many different ways to take advantage of the opportunities that exist in our market today. There's a lot of great ways to acquire them, to finance them, to manage them, and more importantly, to market them. And what makes a great buy is a property that in a short-term rental market is one that is constantly occupied, meaning it's rented throughout the year. There's a great demand for it. You're in a city where there's a great demand. And more importantly, you're in a market that is appreciating. Why? Because the occupancy levels are there. But you don't want to hear this from me. You want to hear this from one of the experts. And today's guest is my dear friend, Patrick McNamara from Pulte Homes. I've worked with him over the past several years, and he's assisted many of our clients acquire properties in the Osceola, Davenport area, just minutes away from Disney. And I brought him in because I want you guys to hear it from the expert here. Patrick, I want you to answer the question that's probably on a lot of people's minds. Why would now be the best time to buy a vacation rental?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. Happy Memorial Day, everyone. That's a great question, Dawood. Everyone wants to time the market, right? And it creates something called analysis paralysis, right? Everyone just freezes and they wait too long to get into it, and then it moves past them and they don't get an opportunity to get in, and then it's too late. Fortunately, in the market we're in, we've seen nothing but a severe uptick in base prices, a severe demand, especially in Florida, of the amount of people that are moving here. So I have never seen so many stars align for the perfect timing to get in to the real estate market, especially in short-term rental, which is kind of a subcategory of investments. It's almost got a little bit of a commercial aspect to it, right? 'Cause
Absolutely.
you can run it like a business.
Yeah. And it's a lifestyle asset. You can
and
use
you
it
can
yourself.
use it, so it's the best of both worlds, right? It's a vacation home you can own that actually can pay for itself.
Correct.
Unlike just sitting there like something on a beach house where nobody's using it. It's just sitting
And
there
it's
going
seasonal.
empty. And it's seasonal. And then if you theme it right and you list it with the right property manager, as you mentioned, I mean, it could be year-round income producing for you.
And in the Orlando market, what we saw in March of 2021, we've seen occupancy levels of well over 85%, in some cases even touching close to 100% throughout certain times of the year. I know that has stabilized a little bit, but I think a nice home in a great community definitely will achieve occupancy levels of well over 75 to maybe even close to 90% many of the times, which a lot of markets throughout the country don't experience that at all.
Absolutely. There's so much demand to come to Central Florida, right? We're the #1 international tourist destination in the country and in the world. So most people will come here. They're looking to stay somewhere where they can have a lot of amenities. They can have some fun with the kids. And we have a lot of amazing world-class hotels, but they're getting expensive. It costs a lot, especially if you're coming from another country, to come to Orlando with flights, reservations to stay in the hotels, and then just eating daily with 5 kids or 4 kids. I mean, it's going to be expensive. So the vacation rentals give you an opportunity to stay in a high-end place, especially with a specific theme, right? And then you can also save a ton of money because you could put the family and the extended family all in the same house. And then you have the ability to go into a place where we build, Windsor K Resort, where they put in the amenities that are almost like a world-class water park, right? So you don't even need to leave the neighborhood.
Well, I don't even think it's a world-class water park. I think it's better than most of the resorts out there in terms of the amenities that they offer. And you touched on a lot of things here. 78 million visitors came to visit Orlando in 2019. By 2024, the Visit Orlando is anticipating 80 million visitors. Now, all of these visitors don't necessarily account for visitors that are going to visit the theme parks. They count for, maybe family reunions and business trips or sporting events and so on and so forth. And there's one thing that I feel that you at Pulte, with all the new developments that you guys do, seem to one-up your competition every single time. And I feel like there's this ongoing battle for whoever goes out and creates this new resort to go out and build the biggest, baddest water park guest experience so that you never really need to leave the subdivision, the resort that you're in. Talk to me about some of the amazing amenities that you guys are introducing and keep introducing to enhance the guest experience when staying at one of your short-term vacation rental resorts.
Absolutely. Let me kind of go back a little bit, right? So we've been doing this in the market for 20 years. It's a niche thing that you really have to know how to do, understand what your buyers are looking for, what the potential people coming to rent are looking for, and do it right. So every time we complete a neighborhood, we get feedback from the agents, from the buyers, from the owners, and we enhance them and move on, right? So we've done 7 or 8 different neighborhoods in the market. We sold the neighborhood that I'm in right now. It's called Windsor Island Resort. We sold 800 homes in just under 3 years.
I think I sold probably about 10 of them myself.
Thanks to you and your team, you guys killed it. You did a ton of sales in there as well. But it just goes to show you that we're doing it right. There is some competition over there. But every time you do something, when you get feedback, you enhance it and you grow to the next level, right? So to answer your question, Windsor Island Resort has a large community pool. There's a hot tub. There's a kids pool with a slide and a big bucket of water that dumps on their heads. Yeah. There's a lazy river that goes around with giant slides that you go down.
Restaurant.
There's a restaurant. There's a bar.
Game room.
There's arcade that you don't have to put any money in. A ton of video games. You've got a gym if you want to work out. And then just most people are just laying poolside, right? And they even have a little concierge that walks around and can get you drinks and food while you're laying out. I mean, so it's just the incredible vacation experience where you don't have to leave the resort. Most people are coming for a week. You go to Disney or whatever theme park you're here to go to for a day or two. Then what do you do the rest of the time you're here? Are you going to spend it in one of the expensive hotels and spend $500-600 a day on food for you and the family, or you can get a nice house, fill the fridge from the supermarket, and just enjoy the day and save a ton of money.
And conversely, I think for a lot of the first-time visitors, many of them will want to go and maximize their time here by going to all the theme parks, etc. But I think on the second trip, third trip, you may pick one or two parks or experiences or attractions that you're going to want to visit. And like I said, offset it for the rest of the time. Listen, I can't wait to get out of the show right here so that I can go see friends that are visiting me from Miami that I rented out one of my clients' 8-bedroom house at Windsor Island.
Yeah, awesome.
And I'm sure they're going to have a big party over there with all the kids having a good time. Now, listen, we know we've talked about short-term vacation rentals. We've talked about guest experiences, right? I have to poke the bear. What are the challenges or risks associated with investing in some of these vacation rental homes from your perspective?
We have done a great job of setting people up for success. What we try to do is make sure that people partner with the right people, right? We unfortunately don't have control over who they hire as a property manager. That's mistake number one, right?
Correct.
You have to make sure you team up with the right person. And most people don't have any connections to that. So what they'll do is partner with an amazing agent such as yourself.
Thank you.
Who can point them in the right direction of, this person has managed multiple properties and they know how to make it successful. Fortunately, we do not force people to use a property manager with our company. And
Correct.
The benefit is if you don't like the way somebody's performing, you can relieve them of their service and bring on somebody else who can perform. Yeah. Some neighborhoods force you to use their people, and that can be, a downside to it.
I think it's a gift and a curse, and I think it's a double-edged sword depending on how you look at it. I think multiple property management companies within an association at times can cannibalize the rate. However, I think depending on how you approach it, sometimes having a singular property management can actually work if it's run right, because they can actually treat it like a resort and make sure every owner gets the best rate. So it's a matter of perspective. But I think one of the key things that I definitely want to tap into and talk about even more is, ladies and gentlemen, before selecting your home, you're probably sitting in front of a computer with a little one on your lap going, should we stay at this home or that home? And I think pictures tell 1,000 words of what kind of experience you're looking to have. And many of the homes these days are going far beyond just offering beds. They're offering guest experiences, they're offering themes, they're offering immersible experiences so that when you're in the home, you're a part of paradise. There's so much more that I want to unpack here. So Patrick, you're not going anywhere. You're going to stay here for the second segment. Guys, stay tuned. This is your host, Dawood Bedrosian. You're listening to Real Sense Now. Catch us after the break. Call in or text 321-331-1055.